when I wrote the learning review, which is the very last document, when I started off by looking at the PLS, which is the very first document, and my career review, and what I realized is the journey reinforced much of what I had been doing. There's always been this central theme of education, trying to advance people and so on, since about 97, which is when I took over management of Point Village in Negril. So I think I sort of make the point that there hasn't suddenly been fireworks and this revelation. I think what it has been is a recapping, a reinforcement of a journey that was long started, and will continue, because it has to continue. You cannot work in this industry. You probably can't work for Sandals unless you're interested in advancing people. Because one of the many things that Sandals do well as a company is training. But we probably need to refocus our training now, in as much as that we're not finding the people we need. Hence, action learning seems to have a role to play here, you know. I think I felt, you know, during this year that there were some disappointments, inevitable disappointments, because I really found that some people were not buying into it, and I asked myself why, and I'm not sure I got the answers that I would have liked to have gotten. Too busy is not really a good answer. Not interested is really, it's probably sad. But nevertheless, when I sat in my own hotel and watched my kids camp, some of whom will graduate today, the enthusiasm they put into it, and they still wanted to be somewhat academic. They had to have a class every week, otherwise they would never have gone through it, because that's how they were brought up. They still need a Mrs. Gordon type figure, my training manager, to sort of, she's a school teacher by training, to sort of reinforce them. But she made sure that they were doing their project. Okay, if you want to come together every week and have a classroom format, that is fine, but you still have to be keeping to the very principle, you know. So I think those were very many bright moments. Starting it up in St. Lucia, and I also went out to Antigua for a few days. I was very encouraged. This whole last year, I have had a chance to consider, you know, what this really means, you know, what it means to me. And what it means to me, I think, is a chance to develop some people, but they have to develop themselves. They don't have to stand at a board and, you know, write up algebraic formulas. I can actually lead them in the direction. They're going to tell me what learning they need. They're going to pick a project that they're comfortable doing to start with, and they're capable of doing, and then, you know, it probably should be an approval process of the projects. And little bit by little bit, they will be advancing themselves. And we have several examples of that already in Sandals, particularly in the Negril properties, where some people are started off with one project and have just gone on and on. And Sandals Negril, I believe, has several of those. And as a result, the culture has taken on, you know, and that's what I see. That's what this year has been about, that we can get to that stage. And I mean, I don't want to harp on the disappointments, but I think we as a company, you know, normally once we as a company sort of say, well, this is what we want to do, most people jump on board, whether hopefully willingly, or if not, they still jump on board, you know. And I think going forward, that's important. I mean, we're shortly to have a general managers meeting, and I'm hoping Mr. Brown will be there, and because we haven't had one in quite a while, and I'm hoping Mr. Brown, as the group director, you know, will raise the whole issue of GULL and where it is in the company and what his expectations are. You know. And the momentum will start. But this can be the groundswell. This can be the awakening for a lot of people. For many of them, it's their first piece of paper, to use a phrase I always use. We have many people, I always use this analogy that when you go to apply for a position and you fill out the application form, do you need the stapler? And it's so simple, and then a lot of staff will recognize it, because you won't need the stapler if you don't have any pieces of paper to attach to your application.
Yeah.
And that is powerful for people, because all of us have always had pieces of paper all of our lives. We've never been for a job where we didn't have something we could attach. We always had to ask for the stapler.